Okay, 4.5. Okay, this is the last section in the, you don't have to copy down this chart again. It is taken right from the textbook. So I just copied and pasted from page 184. So it's pretty much just outlines how to identify each of the different distributions. Okay, so we went through three different ones. We went through uniform, binomial, and hypergeometric. Okay, so often it's a little bit difficult to say, okay, which formula am I going to use and when? Okay, so it kind of breaks it down for you here. There's a couple major key points. Okay, so uniform will only happen when there's one trial. Okay, so if the question starts saying multiple trials or multiple events, then right away uniform is gone. Okay, if it just says one trial, chances are it's going to be uniform. Okay, so key thing there, a single trial. Multiple trials, we start getting to these next two, binomial and hypergeometric. Binomial is if it's independent events, so one event does not affect the next event. Okay, it doesn't affect it with the probability. So the example we used, and a lot of you guys put on the test, was when people have children. Okay, you have one child, that child, the sex of that child will not affect the sex of the next child. Okay, each event is different. Okay, that would be also include, say, cutting a card from a deck and then putting the card back. So there is replacement. Okay, whereas hypergeometric, it is dependent trials. So one trial or event will affect the probability of future ones. Okay, so you have to identify those when you guys are doing the homework and or on the test. Okay, so those are the major ones here. Independent, dependent, one trial. Okay, and then we have the formulas. I will obviously put the formulas on the board. I did make one correction. So the textbooks has this formula here. I just told you just to use NP. Okay, so it's just N times P. And then if you watched the videos yesterday, you would have seen both of these formulas. If you didn't watch the videos or didn't do the work, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about today. Okay, I want to go through some of the things that you may see for these ones. Okay, so some examples of binomial. So I did the boy versus girls. Or males versus females. Okay, so those are independent trials. Cutting a card. But have to have replacement. Can you give me something else that you may see that will be independent trials? Something else that we did a lot of so far. Jacob?
Would be dice.
Dice, yeah. So rolling a die or dice, rolling a die. Okay, so every roll is independent. One roll will not affect the next one. Okay, and then there's one question that kind of overlaps both of them. Okay, so there's a question in 4.3 that we did in the lesson, which was the defects. Okay, so there was a defect question, but it used percentages. So if you have a defect question, you know that one I did with the microchip for a calculator? So it said 10% of the chips are defective. Okay, so if it gives you a percentage, that's binomial. So there's the defect one. If it gives you a percentage, then it's binomial. Okay, the major one for, I'll move hypergeometric, major one for this one, actually, maybe I should ask you guys. This is the same formula as chapter 3. Chapter 3 with combinations, it's the same formula. Okay, they just use fancy letters. That's the same thing we did in 3.5 with probability. Okay, what were most of the questions for this hypergeometry? Or in the homework from yesterday? What have most of my questions been so far with regards to cards? Okay, so what situation with cards will it be hypergeometric? Daniel?
Cutting a card without replacement.
Okay, so cutting a card, no replacement, good. Cutting a card, no replacement. I'm looking for one other major one. Something with cards. Jacob?
Boys and girls.
Boys and girls. So if they're doing like a group, right? So if you're choosing some males and females from a group, so say in this class we have 10 males and 5 females. So if I want to choose 4 males and 4 females, then yes, that would consider hypergeometric. I don't know how that. So choosing from a group. Choosing from a group. Good. I'm still looking at the cards. There's one major one in cards. Daniel?
Are getting how many you get of a certain suit or
Okay.
card from a group of them.
Okay, yes.
So like how many sevens will you get in a hand of six?
In a hand, that's what I was looking for. So cards in your hand. Okay, that's always going to be hypergeometric because you gave out cards. So if I take 5 cards and I give it to Marcel here, my total has decreased now. Okay, so cards in your hand. And then as Daniel was saying is, well, we could be looking at how many 7s we have in the hand, okay? How many aces we have in that hand, okay? And there is a question in the homework, there is a defect question. There's a question, I'm gonna find it for you guys. I thought there was one. Or was that in my lesson? I'm gonna find it. I thought there was a defect question. Maybe it was in my lesson. Where is it? I have it in my notes. There's another defect question, but if they give you a specific number, so they'll say 5 are defected out of the 50, okay? And what are the chances of having 1 defect or 2 defects, okay? When they give you an actual specific number as opposed to a percentage, then it lands under hypergeometric. So this one has to give you a certain number. It's gonna find it. Oh, number 6, in a box of 20 light bulbs, 5 are defective. Okay, 3 light bulbs are selected at random. So number 6 in the homework, so that one gives you a certain number, as opposed to this one where it gives you a percentage. I'm trying to think of, so when we have the test, I'll obviously put all these formulas on the board. You have to recognize what they are and what you use them for. Got any questions with this ones? Single trial, multiple trials, independent trials, dependent.
So
Yeah.
what do the animal questions fall under? Is that hypergeometric too?
Yeah, you end up using the same formula, so you don't really have to identify. Just know that you will get, well, one of the cohorts will get one of the animal questions. So you just use that, the EX equals N